Welcome back to another episode of War Selection Team Match. Now, this is a fan game sent to me by Mongo. Again, is that how you say your name? Mongo? Like mango, Mongo. Oh well. This is a team game sent to me by Mongo. And you see, this is an island map. It's a really nice looking island map too. So real quick, so while they speed up time, because not much happens in the beginning. Right here, I really like the way this map is, like this little cove too. So then I see this looks kind of like a sideways boot, sort of. But right here, there's a little cove right here. There's a little cove right here with really nice, I guess you say, areas, gaps, kind of like canals you can travel through. Like right here, you can get a boat through here. And over here you can get boats through here. Really nice area. Plus there's a path they can actually walk to, so archers can actually guard this location. So as you can see, it's again, this is his mirrored map. You can obviously see the benefits of this map already. Already though, we have each side is marking everything. And what is smart too is the fact that I'm gonna say yellow team, red team. Yeah, yellow team started coming over here, and they immediately started claiming territory to have vision. Now this is incredibly important on island maps, is to have vision, because you don't want the enemy sneaking up on you. See right here already, so bad already got towers all the way on the edges. So yeah, already you can see that this team kind of knows what they're doing in terms of building enough towers along the coastline to prevent a invasion force from starting up. Right here, red team already got a bunch of junk ships up, which is not surprising. A lot of junk ships coming up, and already you can already see what they're doing. They're patrolling the coast. On island maps, controlling the sea is controlling the game. That's how it is. That's how it always is. Controlling the sea is controlling the game. But over here, we have China number one, building up a little outpost here. Really nice, really nice. He's already building a warehouse, which means that he probably just aged up and doesn't have the resources to start building structures. As he has basic towers, and then he's already here in medieval. So obviously, the team knows what they're doing, and is taking their time in putting on base here. You see right here, we have these junks patrolling the coastline. Very, very smart. Unfortunately, though, it only looks like one of the red team, is actually doing this. Now, you only really need one to patrol the coast, but because of how large this map is, you need multiple people patrolling on each side of the water, each of the map. Making sure the enemy doesn't get any ships into the water, because the moment a single dock can potentially ruin you if you're not careful. But it looks like the red team is actually doing that over here. They have a bunch of galleys patrolling this area too. Not doing very well, but then again, there is nothing here, and they would have seen something. They would have seen someone or something build here. Right here, we have red team destroying nearly all the docks. However, looks right here that the junk ships finally caught up to them, and they are annihilated by these galleys. But then again, it's East Asia, and galleys can always be rebuilt. And you see, you already have a bunch of, junk ships can always be rebuilt. And you see right here, junk ships are constantly being spammed out. Now, the one thing, okay, you see right here, they're also spamming out junk ships. Now, one thing you have to know about East Asian combat, you have to take out the docks first. If you just keep attacking the ships, they're just going to keep spawning ships. Constantly. The ships are just going to keep spawning until eventually you get worn down. Someone's going to get worn down here. So you have to go immediately for the docks. Destroy the docks immediately. Which it seems like they do. Oh, over here. See, already, you know, they're trying their best. However, right here, I really like this actually over here. 3 towers, 3 western towers, and 2 docks. Really nice. Now, unfortunately, it looks like they just did attack move because they're not actually aiming for the docks. This is fatal when it comes to ships. When it comes to ships, you have to be paying attention to them because you can't just attack move them. If you do, then they're just going to they're going to slow down. They're not going to do what you want them to do. However, it looks like one of the teams actually managed to get a good landing party in and start killing all the workers that are here. Now, unfortunately, these are just still European versus industrial workers, and honestly, though, they're not. As you can see, they're not doing that much damage. If these were medieval, cavalry, they would have been able to kill them immediately. But you see, like, they're chasing them already. Honestly, though, the workers are actually. It looks like the workers are winning the fight. Honestly. But that doesn't stop this guy from just going around destroying the docks, or destroying the causing chaos in the back line. Now, unfortunately, I would have never gone like Iron Age horses against medieval structures or units. It would always go for as many of the workers. You see, there's a lot of workers here now. Of course, he probably doesn't see them, but I would have. Oof, sorry about that. But I would have solely focused on just trying to find as much information, trying to get as much information as possible about the status of each player, and also start killing off the workers. You see right here, obviously he's doing a really good job killing off the workers. But of course, a lot of them are industrial, so not actually doing that much damage. And honestly, he's fighting back with his workers. They're actually, workers are kind of winning. Now they are losing quite a bit, but see, they're much better at fighting medieval workers rather than industrial workers. Speaking of which, it looks like right here, though, that these guys have decided to combine their forces into a single solitary naval force. Really, really good. Got 4 bombardiers, a lot of warships, and a few junk ships. And it looks to me, since they got bombardiers, they're probably trying to aim for, well, Mongol himself, because this is him. And then this Polish guy, Heisen so bad. And if you get rid of these 2 people right here, man, that's basically GG for yellow team. Because honestly, they're probably the ones doing most of the fighting. The other team hasn't really done nothing, except Vineland. He's been launching landing parties. Right here, okay. So as you can see right here, you see the problem right here. This guy thinks he can destroy the structures. Warships cannot. Eastern Asian ships cannot destroy structures. I have tried with houses, and they still can't do anything. Junk ships, honestly, are better in my opinion, but kind of better in my opinion. But warships cannot do anything. Only turtle ships can actually effectively destroy structures, and even they are horrible at it. As you see right there, here though, you got a lot of you got some trebuchets on the coastline. Trebuchets along the coast are really, really effective. Trebuchets, if you can like line your coastline with trebuchets and towers, ooh, nothing is getting past that. Nothing is getting past that. However, it looks like Violent actually got some machine gun trawlers, which are really nice. If you can rush machine gun trawlers, you can control the sea incredibly fast, as long as your opponent will stays in medieval for a certain amount of time. Because machine gun trawlers can quickly destroy any medieval force. If there's enough of them, and two, as long as they stay medieval for just long enough for you to destroy their docks. However, despite this, it doesn't look like, nothing ever goes according to plan. They're not going to just wait for you to destroy their ships before they get industrial. However, machine gun trawlers are still great at destroying, all these fishing boats that are here. A lot of fishing boats. And right here, the fact that these fishing boats actually managed to clear out a huge chunk of the fish in this, in this map. It's a lot of fish they managed to claim. And plus there's a lot of fishing boats. And whose fishing belong? C.P. Miller, I think? Well, actually, whose docks are these? Smile. Let's see. Oh no, he doesn't have a lot of food. What happened to all his food? Did he waste it all? C.P. Miller, though, he has a lot of resources. But switching back, where is it? There we go. It looks over here, though, however, the jig is up. Now, China did get, heavy knights. Unfortunately, heavy knights are, well, they are still good. They're only good in medieval. Having them industrial is, not the best. Not the best. I guess it doesn't really stop the yellow team from trying to preserve what they can, really, of their base. And honestly, they should have made more use of this area right here. They should have transported more workers, transported more units, etc., to just this area, and then launch a full-scale attack upon the western side of the map. However, it looks like, this guy got kind of spooked to see an outpost over here, and seemed to have fortified this area quite extensively. However, right here, though, this is interesting. So this is actually Mungo's melter balloons, which is actually what I was going to comment on. Really smart to do in island maps. Balloons are really, really good in island maps. But only for a certain amount of time. Because once your opponent realizes what you're doing and gets AA up, there's no point of any form a balloon warfare or aerial warfare until those until the AA is gone. However, sending balloons over this early, especially this early in industrial at least, really, really good because it's enough to harass the enemy lines or enemy resources. You see right here, he's launching full scales. He's killing a lot of them, honestly. Although I feel like he could have just stayed in certain areas and killed more, but I guess getting more information as well as, potentially killing more workers. Oh, right here. It doesn't matter, I guess. I was gonna say, right here is where the they start building AA. They did build AA over here, but looks like Narek came over here with his own planes, Japanese bombers, and started laying waste to the AA. But we're gonna look at sea right now. It doesn't look like anything's happening at sea. It does, however, look like there's extensive air combat now. We have CP Miller, Corporal Miller, getting Farmans up, which are really, really good at destroying the docks. If you can find any docks, sending Farmans is really good because they have the range to go the distance. However, don't expect it ever. You're probably not going to get them back, especially if you have coastal defenses. Enough of them, at least. However, right here, though, we have a lot of planes coming in, and this is very, very common to see in island skirmishes. Naval fights are the first ones. However, air skirmishes are the second. Air power is incredibly important when it comes to naval fights because of how effective it is, of course. It's incredibly, incredibly effective to launch planes at your opponents just to harass them, until you can establish a proper invading force. Sending constant air raids at your opponent is an extremely effective way to buy you that time. Either by going after the docks. Well, going after the docks is actually one of the primary things you want to do, because it prevents your opponent from establishing a invasion. However, over here it looks like China again. He tried his best to get to get a landing party outpost. I'm sorry, an outpost over here. It looks like the enemy red team is not having it. However, that does not stop the yellow team from constantly sending large raids at the opponent, large air raids at the opponent. These balloons are still going strong. Now, balloons aren't the strongest. Sorry, balloons aren't the best. However, they don't have to return to base, and you can just make them keep going again and again just to kill off all these workers. You see, they're killing off so many of the workers of the entire front end, the front lines essentially of the red team. And right here, we got the Japanese bombers going after the airfields, which is actually really smart too. Going after the airfields, especially, is a really good way at, again, buying you the time you need. However, you would also want to target the farms as well. And if the player is France, target the houses. Because you need a lot of population as France. Yeah. But as you see right here, the balloons are finally they're going down one by one. They're actually dying this time. There's not that many balloons left. Because they managed to get AA up. Now, unfortunately, but the balloon strategy will only ever work once. And that is if your opponent is... I'm sorry. It will work twice if your opponent didn't learn the first time. But usually the opponent learns the first time. And it only works once. So that's the last of the balloons. And it looks like over here the fighting has, in a way, subsided. It looks like the fighting is more or less subsided for now. Neither side is launching an attack. It's obviously, they're building up their forces, obviously. Like right here. Holy crap, Mongo! I didn't even, the first time I watched this, I didn't even realize the sheer amount of airfields you were trying to go for. That's a lot of holy foxes. We've got 5 holy foxes. A single holy fox has the potential of annihilating entire armies. Plus, they don't have to worry about enemy air forces attacking them, harassing them. Holy crap! I didn't even realize this. Let's actually follow this around. And see right. Oh, let me slow down actually. So right here though, we have Yellow Team patrol. It seems like you're patrolling the waters over here, which makes sense. Patrolling to see if there's anything here, any targets of opportunity. He's probably going to aim for these docks. Yep, right there. Aim for the docks. Over here again, launching large raids against any enemy structures. Now, going after the arsenals are also really, really good. If you can go after the enemy's arsenal, especially if it's a country that relies on arsenals, it's incredibly good to go after. Right here, we have the Holy Foxes. Dropping some payloads. Now, unfortunately, you have to be careful when it comes to Holy Foxes. Or planes in general. You have to constantly click them up. Unfortunately, these Holy Foxes are taking quite the beating. However, Holy Foxes, if I know them, they can withstand that beating for a long time. And plus, their payload is insane. So they can stay in the air for practically indefinite amount of time. 300 seconds. They can stay in the air for 300 seconds, which is more than enough time for any plane. Right here, yep, and the Holy Foxes, despite some of them being heavily damaged, that's enough for only one more attack run. Only one of them made it with above half health. Yeah, only one of them made it with above half health. You see, the sheer amount of AAs it took just to bring them down to half health is insane. However, right here, it seems the Yellow Team is playing more defensive. They're only launching air raids at the opponent, which is, expected. However, they don't seem to care too much about the... See, they're not... It doesn't look like they're building any more docks. In fact, they actually made a choke point here. I'm guessing to defend their fishing ships that are here, fishing boats, and their, their farmlands that are over here. Now let's see. Oh, these are Mongo ships again. Guessing he's finally building some sea forts. Now, I would never have built sea forts over here. Now, while it makes kind of sense as to why, if you were planning on getting, some vision. However, you kind of want to keep them in close proximity to your coastline first, and then slowly expand out. Now, some of the most common strategies I've seen before, of course, it was nerfed in a way. It wasn't really nerfed. The price of Sea Force just went up. The Sea Force damage stayed the same, and their health stayed the same, but the price went up. However, before I remember that people would do long lines of Sea Forts, and actually, instead of doing a line, you decided to do an entire group. Apparently, okay. Not, I mean, it makes sense. However, fair warning is. That's basically placing right here, placing all your eggs in one basket. Yep, right here. That is this is exactly why you don't do that. Now you can get some AA in your sea forts, however, it requires IR2, which I think Mongo is. Well, he is IR2 because he got the Holy Foxes. But that's why you want to keep them close to a certain point, and then slowly spread them out constantly. Just go down the line, go down the line, go down the line. Sea forts are not cheap; they're incredibly expensive, but you have to use them but they are incredibly effective, and you have to use them effectively. You have to use them smartly. You can't just place sea forts in random locations. You have to be smart about them. However, it looks like, again, more planes are coming in, launching raids again and again. But this time he took his Holy Foxes away from the AA and now launching them in areas where he can actually hit. Now, there's still some primitive workers here from one of the guys who apparently quit early on. Speed up time. Again, it really doesn't look like the enemy is playing, or the yellow team is playing offensively. They're playing defensively. They are, however, establishing a base over here. And judging by the fact of the severe beating that the red team is getting right now from the air raids, it's clear that they're not worried. They're not worried about this. However, if the red team was smart, they would have immediately done what this guy does, especially Smile does, and get some AA up. And then they should have also gotten airfields up, and instead of getting the bombers, instead it would have been better to get the jet fighters and then a radio tower to then counteract the bombing runs they've been getting severely. As you saw, those were just heavy bombers, and they were chased away by the sheer amount of AA. So you see, this guy is doing it correctly right here. Now, I don't know what exactly units he's getting, as you can see. Smile. It doesn't look like he's getting any units right now. He does have the resources, apparently, so... It doesn't look like that he should have had any trouble with getting troops. However, right here, apparently, this guy, again, here's the consolidating of units. Consolidating units for the invasion. However, as you see right here, they were prepared for this. They have tons of Ulan. Now, something gets actually is interesting right here too. They're throwing grenades at the Zambruks. Usually, the Ulan are supposed to attack with the spears. They're supposed to attack with spears when dealing with other units. Now, when it comes to things like armor or buildings, yes, they would throw grenades. But why are they throwing grenades at Zambruks? Do they always do that? Have they always done that? They shouldn't be able to. They should chase them with the spears. They should be attacking them with spears, not with the grenades. That's interesting. Actually, let's check something real quick. After he killed this one... Oh, they just ignore this. They just ignore the... I was hoping they would attack the workers, but they just ignored that. Right here, though, he's launching large, you know, aerial raids as France. French has some of the best planes in the game, which is kind of good. Which kind of makes sense considering the fact that's the only good thing they have. French is still a dog shit country. To play as, at least. Yeah, but it looks like it seems to be more like they're preparing the ground, honestly, which is actually smart. Again, you want to prepare the ground with your air force, but again, they also look like they're playing defensive. They haven't gotten any what's it called? But steamboats, there you go, steamboats. They haven't gotten any steamboats, and this guy's still in medieval. However, this guy does get aircraft carriers, which is smart, but then again, where exactly is his airfield? It's all the way back here. Okay. And these are probably spawned off the aircraft carrier, too. However, right here, it looks like, you know, they are producing more airfields and more... Well, they're not... It just looks like airfields. This is very much a waste of... Not resources, but of time, like valuable time that they could be spending. They could be spending the time building factories here instead, and then launching an assault via land, just breaking through here and then launching an assault. It would have gotten them way more damage and giving them more time too, especially. But they're not utilizing this one area they have. They're just building airfields, and as of course there's only one guy, and he's probably just thinking of getting like constant air raids in, but still, just it's not really worth it. It's not really worth just building airfields here. There's no point of building airfields. I'm sorry, there is a point building airfields here. If you're constantly launching raids, you want them to like have a closer landing spot to launch faster. But yeah, again, it's pointless to not have factories or barracks here. However, speaking of something that's also pointless, is this? What the fuck is? I know this is Mongo too. What the fuck is this, Mongo? What the fuck is this? Why did you place sea forts like this? I get they have AA now, but what the like this right here? This is kind of what you want, but you don't want them too close. You want them further apart. But why did you place them here like this? You want them spread out. Speaking of spread out though, this guy right here, he's been launching constant air raids at this guy. Constant air raids. It's really nice. Look at the sheer amount too. Unfortunately, I'm betting at least a few of these are going to be destroyed. Because of the sheer amount of AA that's here. Oh, nope, never mind. He's upgrading the... Oh, wow. You decided to upgrade them now? That is just... Yep, there goes a one. However, speaking of which, it looks like one of the guys actually got some 520s and launching a attack via air. However, some of them actually went down. Some of them got destroyed. I'm guessing, was it the wait? Does AA do AOE attacks on the air? It would make, I mean, kind of makes sense, but some of their own planes went down from that AA fire. Like, I get from the little exploding, you know, parts. That's interesting too. Does AA do friendly fire damage? I mean, it would make sense. I mean, in reality, it makes sense, but usually, you know, games don't. Most games don't think about using friendly fire against, like, friendly fire, in the air. It's usually, you know, only against the enemy. Now, of course, I know this game has friendly fire, but I would never expected the in this game at least to have friendly fire for AA. I'm right here though. They're obviously this guy right here, Gamson. He's built 2 steamships to launch an attack. They're probably filled with Zambrucks. Now, unfortunately, this was probably the worst location. One of the worst locations probably to, I guess, well, I don't know what this guy is doing actually. I say it's one of the worst locations to land, but is he actually planning to land in certain areas? Right here though. Oh, yep. Both destroyed. Probably filled with troops too. Yeah, they were probably filled with Zamburuks. Yeah, they were probably filled with Zamburuks. But that was, oh, that was a big, if they were, oof, that would have been a big hit. This guy again, you know, more Holy Fox. They're playing. Yellow team is playing highly defensive. Against red. Launching more air raids against them. I think this whole fight is just constant air raids. This is one of the things I love about island maps too. Okay, speaking of island maps, I love island maps. If you saw one of my own videos, my free for all match, you saw I loved island maps. Unfortunately, I didn't win. However, I feel like I could have won had I gotten enough time. But then again, from the fact that I almost got my ass kicked at one point, yeah. I probably actually, no, think about it, I probably wouldn't have won, but I would have gained so much more in the way of territory and land, solidifying my power. But the one thing I love about island maps is the strategy necessary, or water maps in general, is the strategy required to win an island map. You need to, like, to do island maps, you have to think about your resource. First, you gotta realize, okay, I have this many. I'm on this island. I have this many resources, and then after that, you then have to think, okay, my opponent is here. Are there any more islands? Yes, no, maybe so. Then you have to go and think, okay, I have this much population, I have this many workers, and I need this many ships to launch an invasion with this many troops. But if your ships, you know, if your dock gets destroyed, then it's basically game over. If your docks are destroyed, it's game over. If you can't successfully land a landing party, then it's just a stalemate until you can get industrial. And then after that, you have to, like, think, okay, here I am in industrial. Now I need to launch I had to prepare a huge invasion, because at this point, depending on how many resources your opponent has and depending on how many resources you have to sit and prepare and constantly patrol where they are, lock them down in that one location. And he has to constantly patrol the area, like constantly. He has to constantly patrol. You cannot, because a single dock can just ruin you. Because you're going to focus all your attention on destroying that one dock, but then your enemy is going to build docks like on the other side, two more docks over here. They get more ships up. And at that point, the blockade is going to be ruined. Oh, there goes a holy fox, and this one's about to be destroyed too. Yep, there goes a holy fox, and there goes another holy fox with only one remaining. And this guy's getting more steamships filled with Zambrooks, I guess. Actually, I want to see. Nope, they're actually not filled. It's not filled with anything. Interesting. But again, you have to, like, in island maps again, you have to think about everything. But the one good thing I love about island maps is the fact you never have to worry about a rush. You never ever have to worry about a rush. Now you could say, okay, they're gonna rush probably, you know, sampans or battle boats. Okay, yeah, sure, they might be able to rush those, but you can only fit like 2 troops in a battle boat or in a sampan. You can't fit. You can only like when it gets, especially early, you can only fit like two spearmen in a sampan or a battle boat. Really, just 2. Okay, what are you gonna do with just like 2 units? Like you could launch one if they don't have any. If you have a lot of them, they don't have any form of defensive structures. Then yes, you could, in fact, you know, disrupt your opponent. But if it's only 2 spearmen, what is 2 spearmen really gonna do? The workers can like just throwing your workers throwing spears could easily kill 2 spearmen. So you never have to worry until medieval. Once medieval hits, then you have to think about, okay, I have to think fast. I have to build fast. I cannot waste any more time. I have to age up fast. Again, it doesn't look like much is happening, honestly, besides constant air raids. But then, okay, as I was saying before, when it comes to Island Maps 2, it isn't just, you know, just waiting for your waiting until medieval or disrupting your opponent. You have to you have to constantly balance your population too. France, like for example, France, you have to constantly balance your population. You have to get a certain amount of tanks. You need like 100 workers, and then you can only make 10 tanks. Then you also have to get an steamboat to transport those tanks. And then that's even if you can get them on the shore. Even if you can get them on the shore, you're then gonna have to fight a close quarters combat. It's gonna be basically like almost urban warfare, because island maps are never. There's gonna be a structure every 2 meters. There is a structure that either you're gonna have to destroy, or it's just gonna be in your way. Either be houses, warehouses, whatever. Your opponent is just gonna be. You're just gonna be stuck there, fighting tooth and nail against your probably opponent's entire army that's on the island. In brutal combat, and even if you fail, you're just gonna have to do it again and again and again until one of you runs out of resources. Now, my personal way of playing is always go East Asia when it comes to dealing with. I'm sorry, that's all I know. Don't do that. Don't listen to me. When finding an island map, you need to get ships up fast, regardless of what kind of ships they are. East Asia is the best because one thing you can count on East Asia is not only can they shoot while moving, but you can mass produce them like no tomorrow, and you can always overwhelm your opponent. And that's the one thing about C2. Overwhelming an opponent at sea is almost impossible because it's an open space. They can run in any direction, or they can run as long as they're water. They can move in any direction. You don't have to. There's no choke point. Is what I'm getting at. There's no choke point that they can just sit you at. There's no towers they can build. There is nothing that your opponent can do to stop you, or you can do to stop them. You could go, of course, Europe and get bombardiers and galleons, but bombardiers and galleons are incredibly expensive, and it is way cheaper to go galleys. Now, of course, most people would prefer to go bombardiers and galleys, which is always a good combination. Whereas some people with a lot of resources might go galleons and bombardiers. Again, a good one. However, you're always going to have a limited. However, the one good thing about galleons is the fact you can basically counter anything East Asia throws at you. Now, West Asia has really good ships. In my opinion, West Asia has some of the best ships. Not because of I'm sorry. East Asia has some of the best ships, but West Asia, in my opinion, is some of my favorites. Because West Asia has the attack ship. And the attack ship is just... It can work as almost a galleon and a bombardier. A galleon and a bombardier, basically. And you can just the damage you can cause with a single attack ship. While they don't do that much damage, they can just really screw up an opponent. Now they aren't the best to rely on, but they are the most versatile. And they're also some of my favorite. And right here, it looks like, yellow team managed to get a ton of Ulans and launch a full-scale attack on this guy's Wonder. This is actually technically the first guy that's gonna die. Well, everyone else apparently quit. Everyone else apparently quit. With this guy technically being the first death. Yeah, most of the team just quit. With no one on the other... well, one guy quit, apparently. One person quit on the other team. Okay, this whole fight is just constant error. I'm just going to speed up the time. Because this fight is basically over. So I'm just going to talk about, island maps. And how to just fight normal island maps. When it comes to industrial, though, now industrial isn't very okay. When you get to industrial, you need the correct country. Like, you need the correct country in fighting island maps. Germany, not a correct country. China, again, early debate. Okay, the debate on China is still going for me as to if this is a good country to choose for island maps, because China does have mass ships. I'm sorry, they can mass fishing boats and just ram them. However, one of their main weaknesses is machine gun trawlers, because machine gun trawlers can just turn around, just keep moving, and they go the same speed as fishing boats, and then they can just continually shoot the fishing boats, and then just sink them all, and then just move on. Now, you kind of have to be smart with the Chinese fishing boats, because you have to chase your opponent, and your opponent isn't usually just gonna stand there and let you sink their ships. So there's that. However, the best effective way to use fishing boats is to completely ignore your opponent's naval troops. Rather, the best thing you can do is to go straight for their docks and just ram them. Just constantly just ram all their docks, everything, and then just continually moving, and then get maybe some steamboats and land troops. Land constant troops onto their shorelines. Remember, China is about just mass throwing your units at the opponent until they give up. That's really Russia too. Russia is not a good country though to go island map. Russia is not a good island, or not a good fighter. Now they do have effective units. The rocket launchers, especially, they could act as anti-naval, but I wouldn't put my money on it. Again, Germany, I said, not a good country. It has virtually no good naval units. Britain, good country. It has the Dreadnought, Holy Fox, and the Sea Forts. Always good. Japan Japan rules the waves. And as we see, we have victory for the Yellow team. GG for GG Mongo. Let's see. The other countries, Poland. Poland, not a good country. I'm sorry, no, that's a lie. Poland is an iffy country because they do have the amphibious tanks. However, the number one problem with the amphibious tanks is they are ridiculously slow. So slow, in fact, I would rather, torpedo boat, getting some torpedo boats in the water can just sink the fuckers. Now, granted, they have a crap ton of armor, but, oh well. France is a good country, too, to go with naval. Now, it has a lot of air power and has virtually no naval fights besides the aircraft carrier. But the air power itself really does make up for it, as they have the ability to just obliterate even Yamatos. Now, granted, you need a lot of them, but hey, like right here. thank you for the friend knew I was gonna record this and show me the aircraft carriers. And plus, the aircraft carriers do have the ability, now they do, thank God they do, to spawn troops onto their spawn planes onto their ships. Turkey, not a good one. However, it is incredibly good defensively, as they have the ability to just bombard. Their mortar towers have the ability to bombard, so really good. So you want some defensive countries? Turkey is definitely the way to go. And yeah, Turkey and France, they're great defensive countries when it comes to islands. Was that India? Horrible. No, India is not even. Do not. If you go and have an island fight, never go India. India is probably one of the worst countries to choose when doing it. Let's see, what other countries are there? We got Britain. Okay. We got Britain. Shows them all. I don't know. Actually, you know what? Real quick. Sorry about this. But now I'm kind of interested. Let's see. Actually, wait, I chose. Actually, I think I said all the countries. Actually, yeah, I said all the countries. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. So yeah, that has been my video on I'm not a free for all. Team Match Island. I hope you all enjoyed of me ranting about island maps instead of actually commenting really on the fight. But it really did get boring towards the, it kind of boring because it was just like constant air raids, which actually to me like using the planes is actually really fun, but actually watching them. There's a limit of how much I can deal with them. I think the best country, however, though, is Japan to go naval because it really does. It's solely naval. It really is solely naval. The bombers have the ability to sink ship. They have torpedoes. Jet fighters are perfect at anti-air because they're really fast. No, they don't do too much damage, but oh well. Fugos can just constantly be sent out across. Sakura blossoms, they have a rating potential. Sentoku's really good. Submarines, K-10s are just the torpedoes, and then you need the Yamato, which is basically indestructible. Light Transporter, however, has really good defensive capabilities. Light Transporters can just obliterate any form of naval force that comes even remotely close to your shores. So, there's that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you all next time.